Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is a short analysis of the drone attack in Saudi Arabia from www.central-mosque.com. So the media is reporting that recently, or yesterday to be precise, there was an attack on the Abqais and Khurais oil refineries in Saudi Arabia, which is going to disrupt some of the world's oil supply, and we're going to find out the financial impact of that tomorrow morning when the markets open. The media is mostly claiming that this came from Yemen. The Houthi rebels, who are basically fight Saudi Arabia and Yemen, are engaged in a war. I've made some videos regarding that. It is a very depressing situation. The media is claiming that this ragtag army of Houthi rebels fired drones laden with explosives which flew 800 kilometers into Saudi airspace and then targeted these oil refineries with pinpointed accuracy. It's the most ridiculous thing that you could believe. I've done an entire video and I'll put it in the description about the Houthi missile capabilities. The first one was fired as January 5th, 2018, where they lobbed some missiles into Saudi Arabia. They are primitive forces, so they lobbed some missiles and hoped that they would land on target. Now, almost a year and a half later, for us to believe that they have such sophisticated technology where they're able to target, basically launch the drones from the border right here, fly 800 kilometers, and basically score a hit is ridiculous. It didn't happen. So tomorrow, when there's Monday, more analysis will be available. I'm not sure if media is going to find out and speak to experts about this or not. However, this is not a drone attack. It's not possible. The Houthi rebels have no technology of this caliber whatsoever. Neither does Iran, for that matter, to come from Yemen, to 800 kilometers into Saudi airspace, which is basically protected by Patriot missile batteries. So as soon as a bogey comes in, it is detected, it is targeted, it is neutralized. No way it can last 800 kilometers in Saudi airspace. And by the way, I've lived in Saudi Arabia, and I've when you drive around and you look at these oil refineries, the security obviously is watertight. There's no way something can go 800 kilometers and target it. That's not gonna happen. So what did happen, potentially and possibly? Number one situation, this is an internal terrorist strike of some kind. So basically, some terrorist organization within Saudi Arabia launched missiles or drones. And basically, what happens is your air defenses are mostly, usually in the case of Saudi Arabia or any other army, are more focused on border incursions. So anything that comes from across the borders in Saudi Arabia. And then basically, because these things are expensive, they target sections of the border. So in case of Saudi Arabia, it will be right here, protecting the Yemeni border because they are expecting missile strikes and stuff. So if it's an internal terrorist strike, your response times and stuff, you're not used to it. It's an unusual situation. So one possibility is that it is some kind of a terrorist attack, and it is really scary if that is the case. That's one possibility. Second possibility, it is a terrain hugging ballistic missile which came from Iran. It isn't about the technology, it is the times involved. So as I've talked about, the basically air defenses detect the bogey, then they target it, they shoot it down, they neutralize it. In case of Iran, because it's right across the Persian Gulf right here, the times involved are so small, it'll be extremely difficult for someone to basically detect it and neutralize it. But then you have to think about, why would Iran do that? Why would Iran launch a terrain hugging ballistic missile from its own shores onto Saudi Arabia? That's going to be the most ridiculous thing Iran can do. Second possibility, and there's things on social media, people are already saying it, that this missile actually came from Iraq. Once again, Iraq has no such capability whatsoever to do that. They have no terrain hugging ballistic missiles. So if it came from Iraq, it must be supplied by someone else, potentially by Iran. So it is a ballistic missile which can possibly come from Iraq or possibly come from Iran, or it's a terrorist attack. Third possibility, it is some kind of a false flag attack on Saudi installation to basically preempt a war in the Middle East between Shias and Sunnis and so on and so forth. So don't think this is beyond the realms of possibilities, because this actually happened in the Second World War. That's how Second World War started. Basically, attack on somebody else's soil by somebody else, and then we got dragged into war, which lasted, and then we had Second World War way much later, and so on. So each of these possibilities are really, really scary. None of these actually prove at this point of a drone attack. There's no technology that exists either in the hands of Iran or the Houthi rebels in Yemen, which are basically a bunch of ragtag, lightly armed AK-47 wielding terrorists. Cannot do that. It's just not on. It's not gonna happen. So when the world wakes up to Monday morning tomorrow, there'll be more analysis, and maybe we'll find out the truth, maybe we will not find out the truth. But this is really scary. So I request all of you to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bring peace, safety, and security to the world. Nevertheless, my instinct tells me that this is not going to end well at all. Okay, this is a very scary situation on Saudi installation, particularly where it has been. If it was near the border or something like that, you can potentially say, maybe it's the Yemeni rebels or something like that. But where it is, right? It's not possible. It did not. This strike did not come from Yemen. It came from somewhere else. It is either an internal terrorist attack, or someone backed by Iran, or it's a false flag operation to incite more violence into the Middle East. I request for you to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because everything is in the hands of Allah, for Allah to ease the situation of the world and bring peace, safety, and security to all the Muslims wherever they are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.